Hello and welcome. My name is Sunny, and this is a demo for the project Playwright test. Now, what I'm doing in this one is the same as the Selenium project, in which we are testing a website or a web page using Playwright instead of Selenium. Now, this web page has the most commonly used elements that could be found on other websites, such as radio buttons, checkbox, hyperlinks, alert boxes, confirm boxes, among others. Now I'm using Playwright in this with TypeScript. So let's give a sample demo first. To execute the test, all you need to do is npm run test. This will execute it in a console. And as you can see here, the actual command is playwright test -minus project chromium. And the way I have set it up is it will execute it in parallel. So that's why you have 11 tests using 2 workers. These are the test case names. Link is present, bold text is present. And it also tells you which file is being executed, which line and column number as well. And there we go, we have 11 paths. Now the way the project is set up, let me show you first the package.json. We ran this command, npm run test. Now if you wanted to run it on Firefox WebKit along with Chromium, all you need to do is append -minus project WebKit -minus project Firefox after the Chromium one. So it will then run it on multiple web browsers. Now you have the debug mode. You also have the visual and the interactive mode. Now what the visual mode does is, as we run the test case, as we saw recently, it was in command line, right? So that's perfect for CI/CD. In visual mode, what happens is you will actually have the web browser open up, the steps taken, performed, checks done, and then the web browser will close. Now the way this entire thing is set up is each of the test cases are sandboxed. So what happens is once the test case executes, it will open the browser, do the check, close. For the next test case, it's going to open the browser, do the test, and then close. So that's going to happen 11 times really fast. Now in interact mode, for the UI mode, you get a sort of like an IDE. So you can execute test cases individually. You can see the timeline. You have a small output window. It's really great. And debug is for debugging. Generate report and show report are to generate an HTML report. See, the report is HTML right here. And the show report will run your default web browser and open the generated report. So let's show test visual and interact. And if you look at the README file of the usage, I have mentioned all of the commands except lint and fix. So those two are for editing the code. Now if we run test visual, now remember what I said. It's going to open the browser, do the test, and then close 11 times. So warning is necessary. There you go, see? Open the browser, do the test, close. Open the browser, do the test, code, close. And since we're working in parallel, there are 2 web browsers being opened right now, really fast. There you go. Now, what you could do is you could slow down the execution of this or put a hold in the test file itself right here. See, for example, bold text is present. That's the test case name, as we saw earlier. Bold text is present. That's the first one. So we are initializing the POM here, page object model. We say go to the page, and this is the test. And as you can see, the entire test case is more like English. You don't have much less than equal to or something like that. You can actually read it like English. So you can see expect sample page dot bold text. That's the element. To have text, this is sample text. That's how it's written and done. Now let's do the IDE version. Run interact. And here you go, see? You have the timeline, you have the actions condensed here, so you will get all the hooks mentioned. You can see the source file, which one happened, the locators, any logs that you have done, any attachments, network speed, and everything. So let's show the hover button changes color, right? So I can do run here and see that's the test that's gonna run. You have the before hooks that's being executed. We got the locators. There's a check, and that's the after hooks. This was the window with the action. You can do before and after. That's the timeline, and it can actually tell you, see, which code is being executed. And here it is, locator.hover, and then we have locator.click. And you can close this as and when you need it. So this is much better if you really want to see what exactly is happening, and kind of like a IDE. That's why I call it as an IDE. That's the network, that's what's happening. You have the get commands being made, and as I'm hovering over them, you can see on the timeline where it took place. Now let's generate the report. Now generate report actually executes the tests again. The earlier was a different format, now it's just directly here, right? It's not printing it out like that. Report has been made, and it also tells you its one personal command. You can run that, but if you go for package.json, it's the same command. See, playwright show report and playwright show report. So I just npm run show report. We do that. And here you go. You got the full report. HTML made, and it tells you you ran on Chromium, how many pass, fail, flaky, or skipped, what's the execution speed of it, and you can open it and get the same thing as the IDE. If there are any before hooks, what are the actual commands that took place, if there are any after hooks, and so on. Now a little bit of explanation. This is the Playwright config. Now most of the commands that are in here, for example, test dir, fully parallel, how many retries you want, how many workers are there, see, what kind of reporter do you want for CI/CD dot or list, see, and here it is, which web browsers you want, Chromium, Firefox, or WebKit. You can also do mobile tests and directly deploy it on the server. Some of those could be mentioned on the command line, and you could read more on Playwright's documentation page. This is the actual test file, and this one is the POM file. So that's the initializer here, got the constructor. We then have the goto, then we have the goto method, and then all the other actions that can take place. Now, in my opinion, the way that it's written and made is almost similar to Selenium, so there's not much to explain here. In Selenium, we did the same thing. We created a page object model, we initialized it, we put some actions into it, then we have the test file as separate. That will then initialize the page, go to the website, and then you can perform all the actions and checks as well. That's it. Thank you and have a good day.